What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video for Saturday, May 25th. Apologies that I did not have a video yesterday. About 4 a.m., the power went out. Apparently, we had another derecho. There's like 80-mile-an-hour winds. Prior to 2020, I'd never heard of a derecho before. Had one of those. There's flooding. I can't even get out of my town right now. As you can see, it looks pitch black. It's pitch black. It was a very long day, no power, and apologies that I did not have a video, but anytime we don't have a video out by, let's say, 10 a.m. your time, check the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, because we do have an article. So the article is there. Everything else is there. So definitely check that out. But yeah, long day. But we are back. We have a full Saturday slate. It's maybe an extended weekend for you. Hopefully you guys have great plans. Hopefully the weather is doing wonders for you wherever you're at. So that being said, we're going to break it down. If you've never been here before, we go through every single game. We're going to look at every game, every pitcher, every batter that makes sense. If this is the video and that's it and you don't need anything else from us, that's awesome. We're trying to make you a better DFS player. If you need a little bit more help, you can always go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com right here. The description of this video has the link to today's article. So if you need a little bit more in that article, we put the top, like 8 to 9 pitchers that we like and their stats against their team they're going to face. And then we give you about 5 plays at each position that we like for that day. It can change. It will change. Weather, lineups coming out, things do change. But in the description is the link to the article. Clicking on the link helps out us for prospective sponsorships, seeing the views coming into the website. Clicking on ads on this YouTube video helps, and subscribing helps as well. And if you've never been here before, we have giveaways every single day. We have 2 giveaways every single day. So how do you win? Simple. Somewhere in this video, there will be a keyword that I will say. Type that keyword into the comments and click send. Somewhere in this video, there will be a keyword. And we will pick the winner. The second way to do it, like the video, be a subscriber, and if you've done the keyword, or just leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week, which is a $10 value to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. That's a week of MLB, NASCAR, PGA, and MMA. If the video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance to win a $30 monthly pass. 150 likes, a $200 yearly pass. 200 or more likes, a $500 lifetime pass. So we try to make you better DFS players overall. If you need a little bit more boost, we do have FTA Plus, but we try to break it down for you. So you see the video links are a little bit longer than other ones. And that's because we don't have TikTok brain here. We break everything down. It's a full breakdown. It is not give me these 5 players and that's it. Give me your fantasy 5-pack and that's it. If you're looking for that, we do have some of that information in the content in the description, so you can check that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the first giveaway here, and that is because we got 51 comments on Thursday's video and 76 likes. So someone is going to win a free week right now. And you can win every single day. You can come back and win every single day. So Maurice Hinkson 8708 use the code or the keyword Scheffler, which this is only for getting 50 likes. So you have a chance to win again. We've never had someone win twice. So we're going to re-roll it. So Maurice, if you see this, email me dfshelp1@gmail.com with a username and email you would like on the website if you don't already have an account, or if you have an account, let me know and we'll get set up. I feel like you just won the other day. So you might have one. I cannot recall off the top of my head. It's been a very long day. Not much sleep on a Friday. So yeah, a very long Friday. And that is where I'll end it there. That being said, let me know. And you have a chance to win right here because you did the keyword. So let's pick another winner. So the winner of the free week due to the keyword, Patrick Parisi, 7159 Scheffler, and I appreciate your work. So thank you. I appreciate you appreciating my work. So what I need you to do, Patrick, email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com with a username and password you would like set up on the website, and we would get you set up today for a full week of all content that we have. So that being said, Good luck to you, everyone watching today. You have a chance to win today, tomorrow, the next day, so on and so forth. You can win every day up until you win a lifetime pass. And once you win a lifetime pass, obviously, we do not have any more passes for you. But in the description of this video is also the Discord. In the Discord, we see a lot of people winners. We've seen someone win $20,000 4 weeks ago. We've seen someone win $5,000. We've seen another $20,000 winner. So get in there. We give you out core plays as well. So we give you this information. We also give core plays out there as well on top of everything else. So that being said, this is split up. The slate is split up. It's a Saturday, so a normal split up. You've got early and you've got late. So you've got 9 games early slate, and then the main slate consists of 6 games. So we do have weather concerns yet again, and that'll always play a factor. So in our cheat sheet under the MLB tab, you have a ton of information there. We've got simulations. I did forget. During the making of this video, I am running 10,000 simulations. So it's the initial 10,000 simulations, and we'll give you the top 20 bats after that. About, depending on when it is, usually we'll give you the 20,000 simulations if the main slate locks at like 6 p.m. or 7 or wherever you're at. But since it locks at noon, we probably will not have 20,000 simulations here, but we will see. It's usually reserved because not a lot changes. So that's kind of what we talk about there. So kind of looking at that, let's dig in. We've got a full slate. We've got a lot of great pitching options. We do have a couple of weather concerns here in Philly with Atlanta, and then what was the other one? We've got in LA and Cincy, and it's a bunch of clouds too. So just some things we got to look at, and we got to persevere and move through. So if you have one, let us know. Love to see you guys winning. I'm also looking for an intro and outro. So if you know anyone that creates intros and outros for these YouTube videos, I would absolutely, please let me get in contact with them or have them email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. I am in need of some of those. So that being said, let's rock and roll. Let's look at the games. Let's go through everything. So the first game for the day is Toronto at the Tigers. Currently, this MLB Savant does not understand or does not have the information for who the Tigers are going to be pitching, which is okay. We got Jose Barrios versus to be announced. Barrios, I love him here. 52 plate appearances against him, 26.9 K percentage, 191 batting average, and a very low 5.8% walk rate, which is fantastic. It's exactly what we're looking for when you're looking for a pitcher going against a team that's... The Tigers can hit. It is true. They have been hitting, but we are definitely going to dig in just a little bit more. So let's take a look who they think is going to be pitching for Detroit. It always can change. It's always subject to change. It's supposed to be Reese Olson. Now, he's lined up to pitch. He is day-to-day. Haven't heard any news. So it should be Barrios versus Reese Olson. Yeah, so he's the probable. Anything can happen. So obviously, it'll change if he goes through warm-ups and something's not right with him. So we can look at that too. But 2.16 ERA is doing pretty good. Has not faced Toronto this year. We know that their offense has been up and down, lackluster to say the least. So a little bit, I don't mind Reese Olson at 7,100. Home games, he's pitching a .84 ERA, so he's been way better at home. So I think this could be a low-scoring game. The problem, this is what's wild. Reese Olson is 2.16 ERA, 0-5 record. He has not had run support at all. That's what scares me. That's what makes me think we could look at him at 7,100, but might not have the extra fantasy points lined up with a win. But then you've got Barrios here, 8,100, which they're kind of close. Game log, 2.98 ERA, 5-3 record, 48 strikeouts. Looking at, he's had success against Detroit. I like both of these pitchers. I'm probably not looking at the bats in this one. So to be honest with you, I'm looking at the pitching in this one, Barrios versus, if it is Reese Olson, I do like that. If it's not Reese Olson, then I would look at some Toronto bats. So George Springer, Varsho, depending, you could get cheap with Whit Merrifield. It really just can't decides, Reese Olson has to get through warm-ups and everything to feel comfortable. And luckily, it's the first game of the day, so the lineups are going to come out. We're going to know the news quicker than waiting till the last second. So Reese Olson, Jose Barrios, love them both. I will pay up a little bit more for Barrios, but I think it could be we could see like a 1-0 game or 3-2 game and feel comfortable about it. Next game on the slate, we got Jordan Hicks versus Luis Severino. This is a pitcher's park. Not as good as a pitcher's park as San Francisco, but I will take it. Hicks, 35 plate appearances, 233 against the Mets. Sevy, 40 plate appearances, 135. Now, let's dig in. Now, both of these are great options for tournaments. So we can dig in a little bit and kind of see. They're right next to each other, 7,800 and 7,700. Hicks, 238 ERA, 40 strikeouts, 4-1 record. It's been 4 starts in a row that he really hasn't hit value. So value we're looking for about 2.5 times. So 7,800 times 2.5 is what you're looking for. Not hitting value with fantasy points per game, that's the problem. Pitching away, so when he's on the road, he's pitching 332. But again, pitcher's park, so you got to take that into effect. And then Sevy's actually kind of struggled a little bit too. From what we've seen, 3.48 ERA, splits-wise. Home games, he is way better at home, 2.17 ERA. Coming off 3 stinkers in a row. Last good one was against the Cubs at home, 23.6. We can kind of see he's faced San Francisco once this year already. Lost that game, 6 innings though, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. Did pretty good. Didn't have the run support to win. So 6 innings pitched, kind of what we're looking for. 6 to 7 is kind of the sweet spot. So when we look for that, that's what I would need. I like both of these pitchers. I think both are probably tournaments only. But let's look at the bats just in case the pitching is off and there are runs in this game. Where are we going to go with these pitchers or these bats? So we're looking at, for Giants, I'm looking at Matt Chapman, Lamont Wade Jr., and Yastrzemski off the top. A couple of other bats that you could look at, cheaper ones, Patrick Bailey if he's in there, Estrada, probably not Ryan McKenna. You can look a little bit at Wilmer Flores, but you can see a lot of blue, not doing a lot. But do like Jorge Soler. He's hitting this ballpark a lot, considering when he was with the Marlins last year. So that's kind of where we're looking at. San Francisco side, Helio Ramos, maybe if he's in there. It really just depends on the lineup that comes out for San Francisco. Then the Mets we're looking at. If you think Jordan Hicks is going to be off today, Brandon Nimmo, Starlin Marte, DJ Stewart, Lindor, these are the main ones. You could go cheaper, Omar Narvaez. You could go Tyrone Taylor a little bit, Jeff McNeil. I will probably be off of these 2 offenses. There's not a ton that I love about this offense enough that I will push it. So I'm probably sticking to just pitching here in this game. If we run the simulations and we see that it shows more and there's better options, I will consider some of the other bats. Rangers at the Twins, you got Michael Lorenzen versus Chris Paddack. Lorenzen, 37 plate appearances in his career, so not a ton. 235 batting average. And then Paddack, 26 plate appearances, 346. We look into this. Lorenzen coming in here, 361 ERA, 33 strikeouts, 2-3 record. He's had a couple of good games here against LA and Cleveland. Should have been way better against Oakland. It wasn't. Middle of the road against Kansas City. Has not faced Minnesota this year. I'm probably not using Lorenzen. Looking at on the road, 391, so a little bit worse. I don't know. Maybe tournaments, but I'm probably off of him. And then you got Chris Paddack, 7,300, kind of the same thing. 4.47 ERA, it's a little bit up there. A tremendous game against Cleveland. A terrible game against the Yankees. And then a good game against Seattle and Boston. It's been up and down for him. We look at his splits. Home games, 2.57 ERA. So he's just better at home. Honestly, don't mind Chris Paddack here. I think he'll be under-owned because obviously Texas is the reigning world champions. They've got a great offense. I think Paddack would be the way to go over Lorenzen here, as long as the weather holds up and everything like that. So weather-wise, tournament-wise, I'm okay with Paddack. Again, Texas is a very good team, so Paddack is only a tournament option for me. If it, you're twisting my arm. There's other pitching options that I like today other than these 2, but that would be the way I'd go in this game here. Then you got the Orioles at the White Sox. I'm going Orioles bats. I'm going Dean Kramer. I don't want Fetty. I don't want the White Sox. Eloy Jimenez is out. This offense is trash. Pretty much any Orioles bat, depending on 1 through 6, 1 through 7, and Dean Kramer is where I'm going. We don't even need to break it down. That's where I'm going with that one. Mariners at the Nationals got Logan Gilbert versus to be announced. Gilbert, 29 plate appearances, 259 batting average, 17.2 K percentage. Then the Nationals, we don't know who's pitching for them yet. I'm trying to see if it might be Trevor Williams. It should be Trevor Williams. He last pitched Sunday, so it makes sense. The problem is, coming off a terrible game, splits-wise, he's pitching at home, where he does have a 1.65 ERA, but I think I'd rather look at the Mariners' bats there. Williams has actually been, like, if you haven't dug into his numbers, unbelievable. 4-0 record, 2.35 ERA, 35 strikeouts, 109 whip. You look at this, he has not faced Seattle this year, so tournaments, I'm okay with Williams. I'm okay with that. Logan Gilbert, we know, overall, has been good, 9,200, second highest priced. Game log, did not have a good game against the Yankees. The Yankees are a way better team than Washington. Looking at this, that was his bad game. Then he had good game against Kansas City, not a good game against Minnesota, great game against Houston, Arizona, so on and so forth. Looking on the road, splits-wise, he's a little worse on the road, but he's got a great matchup here against Washington, on paper. We kind of look at that. His career, he's had success. Not a lot. I mean, he hasn't seen him about, start and a half, basically. But depending on how the weather is, could be in store for a game here that I think both pitchers could have a good game, and then it could get to the bullpen and then get a little bit shaky there. But if we're looking at bats here, Seattle bats that I would look at, Cal Raleigh, big dumper here. Dylan Moore has been on fire, was at least during the Yankee series. You could look at him. You could look at Luke Raley. It just depends on who's going to be starting. I know Josh Rojas sometimes starts, but then watching him against the Yankees, he will, they'll pull him for a pinch hitter late into the game. So if he doesn't do anything early, that kind of scares me a little bit. Another one would be Dominic Canzone. You could look at him. Ty France is another one I'd look at. If you think Gilbert's going to continue the road of, another bad game, I would look at Jesse Winker. I would look at C.J. Abrams. I would look at Joey Meneses, Eddie Rosario, Luis Garcia Jr. These would be the ones that I'd look at. I don't know if I'll have much exposure to either offense here in the early slate, but those would be the bats that I would look at in those two games, or those two teams. We got Braves at the Pirates. You got Reynaldo Lopez versus Mitch Keller. Lopez has basically one start, 24 plate appearances, 182. Mitch Keller, 87 plate appearances, 378. So looking to see if maybe that's like one or two batters, or if it's overall he's just gotten lit up by this offense in the past. Acuna, 6 for 15 with 3 home runs, has great numbers. Riley's 4 for 10 with a triple. You got Ozzie Albies 2 for 11 with a home run. They've had success. D'Arnaud 3 for 6 with 2 doubles. You got Orlando Arcia 4 for 5 with a double there. Matt Olson 4 for 7 with a double. So not a ton of strikeouts, not a ton of, but 9 extra base hits and 31 hits, 9 of them extra base hits, with 4 of them being home runs. I would stick with 100% Braves offense. So Olson, Acuna, Albies, Michael Harris, D'Arnaud, Riley. These would be the ones I'd look at. You want to go tournaments, Mitch Keller, if he has a good game, you could look at him. But he's 8,300, 384 ERA, kind of middle of the road start against the Cubs, great start against Milwaukee, fantastic start against the Angels. And then Oakland didn't do much. Milwaukee didn't do much, and had some stinkers this year for sure. Splits-wise, we look at Keller at home this year, 381 ERA. So kind of even on the road and away. Doesn't really matter, or homer and away. Then you got Reynaldo Lopez. It's crazy. He's got a 154 ERA. He's found whatever he needed to find, I guess. 44 strikeouts, 2-on record. Middle of the road, though. That's the problem. Has not been hitting value. So basically, he's now 8,500. We're looking for at least 17.3 to 17.5. He is averaging 19.4 fantasy points per game, but a lot of that as the early starts. He's kind of gone down a little bit. The pitchers are still there. Coming off San Diego, 6.1 innings. You're looking right around 5 innings out of Reynaldo Lopez, which I don't know if I like that. I'm hesitant, But if you were to look at some of these Pittsburgh bats against Lopez, O'Neill Cruz, I'm looking at Bay, I'm looking at McCutchen at the top here. Probably, you could look at Brian Reynolds a little bit. I was thinking Rowdy Tellez, but I'm probably not on Rowdy Tellez. And then Jared Triolo I'd look at. Michael A. Taylor and Connor Joe I usually reserve to only look at or think about against lefties. And obviously Lopez, not a lefty. Next game, Astros at the Athletics. You got Spencer, Mr. Spaghetti versus J.P. Sears. Arrighetti, 19 plate appearances, 294. J.P. Sears, 81 plate appearances, 286. I don't like that. I'd rather go the Astros bats. I'm looking at Kyle Tucker, Yordan. Both normally hit lefties well. Jeremy Pena, Jose Altuve. I'm looking at them. You could look at a little bit of Jake McCarthy if you want. It just depends. Mauricio Dubon, Altuve. Just depends on who's going to be in this lineup. It is a pitcher's park, though. We look at Arrighetti. There's a reason there's a reason both of these are down this far. Arrighetti, 16. I mean, he's had a couple of good starts. Then a bad start against the Yankees. An okay against Cleveland. Not good against the Cubs. He's got a 7.16 ERA. I'm probably not looking at either of these pitchers. I'm looking at both offenses. I think I'd rather focus on Houston first. But Oakland bats, I'd look at Brent Rooker, Langoliers, Tyler Nevin, Abraham Toro a little bit, JJ Bleday. I don't know how much exposure I'll have to Oakland. I probably won't have any. That's where I'd look at. I'd rather focus on Houston and not the pitching in this game. I do not love the pitching in this game at all. Next game, Kansas City versus Tampa Bay. Got Brady Singer versus Aaron Savale. Singer, 67 plate appearances, 150 batting average, 19.4 K percentage. Savale, 94 plate appearances, 170. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with Savale, but I'd rather focus on Kansas City bats. But I love Brady Singer here. We look at Brady Singer's numbers. He's most expensive, but 270 ERA, 61 strikeouts. Don't love the ballpark as much, but coming off a great game, then had a bad game. Splits-wise, has not faced Tampa Bay this year. Pitching on the road, though, is the problem at 4.20 ERA. It is doubled than what it was at home. But I would still take Singer here, and I would look at Kansas City bats. So Salvia Perez, Bobby Witt Jr. would be my top two. You could look at Nelson Velasquez, Michael Garcia, just to name a couple. If we're looking at other ones, if you want to go a little bit lower, you don't want to pay as much, you could be looking at Pasquantino. You could be looking at Michael Massey, Freddie Furman, Dayron Blanco, Adam Frazier. But I'm probably sticking with Witt and Perez and Pasquantino. Yes, they're going to be the most expensive. There is a reason for that. They're the ones producing the most out of this lineup. Tampa Bay bats, I really don't want anything to do with them. Could they go off? They could, because Singer on the road is worse, but I just do not trust Tampa Bay enough to want to spend money on them today. Next game, Brewers at the Red Sox, Colin Ray versus Nick Pivetta. I'm probably not going to have much exposure to this game. I'm not going to have any exposure pitching-wise. I'd rather look at the bats. I think I would rather look for Milwaukee. I would look at William Contreras. I would look at Christian Yelich. I would look at Willie Adames. You could look a little bit at Gary Sanchez. He has had some big homers in this ballpark at Fenway. And then the Red Sox bats that I'd look at, Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran, Rafi Devers against Colin Ray would be the ones that I'd go in this game. Dodgers at the Reds is the next game, which is the main slate, the night slate, the last 6 games. Walker Buehler versus Hunter Green. The problem, the weather is a concern, and the ballpark is a concern for pitching. It's never really been good overall. Buehler, though, in his career, 36 plate appearances, 171 batting average, 25 K percentage. Hunter Green, 56 plate appearances, 120 batting average, 32.1 K percentage. Both have had good numbers historically against the other team. So we look at Walker Buehler, 4.05 ERA, 1-1 record. They just faced each other the last start. 6 innings against them, 7 Ks. I will have exposure to him probably in tournaments because I am scared about this ballpark and I am weary about the weather. Again, depending on when you watch this video, the weather probably could have changed by now. We could have great outlook, kind of like the other day when I didn't want the Yankees and the weather was a huge concern. Then they played the game. Yankees won 5-0. 29.7 is great. Had couple of stinkers, but 29.7 is great. We used him his last start. Then we look at Hunter Green at 8,100. He had a good start against the Dodgers too. That's the problem. But this ballpark's going to be a difference maker, I think. I think I'd rather focus on both of the pitchers in tournaments, but I'd rather look at bats. So if I am looking at bats, and say you're fading this game pitching-wise 100%, and you're looking at bats, obviously Mookie Betts for the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman in this ballpark could spell disaster for the Reds. Shohei Ohtani could have a 600-foot bomb or go deep twice in this game. Those would be the ones. Will Smith, you could look at. If you're looking for cheaper ones, Andy Pages, maybe a little bit of Jason Hayward, Gavin Lux, if you need to get cheap for a Dodgers stack. Reds bats, obviously, against Walker Buehler, Ellie De La Cruz, Will Benson, Spencer Steer, Stuart Fairchild. Those would be the ones. You could look at Mike Ford. I'm probably not going to, but if you're making like 50 lineups and you want a weird Cincinnati stack, Mike Ford could be in there. Just he hasn't really done much to show us anything. He's 3,400 game log wise, 161 batting average. He hasn't played. Basically, it looks like he's playing every single game except Friday. He did not play Friday against the Dodgers, so got the day off. Maybe he comes in Saturday slate here and hits. But again, he did not play Friday, so that's definitely something to look at. Tournament-wise, both pitchers I'm okay with. Probably would focus, obviously the Dodgers, they're a really good team, but bats on both sides I don't mind. Cubs at the Cardinals, you got Jameson Taillon versus to be announced. Taillon's, his numbers have been pretty good. It's wild what he's brought to the table. So we look at him here. 2.20 ERA, 3-2 record, 22 strikeouts. Couple of stinkers in a row, but he's had some good games. St. Louis-wise, he has not faced them this year. Career-wise, 94 plate appearances, 321, has not been the best against them. And again, he struggled last year pretty much against everybody. But Matt Carpenter, 7-for-26 with a double or 2 doubles and a home run. You've got Lars Nootbaar, 1-for-6 with a home run. So not huge. Nolan Arenado, 7-for-13 with a double. Goldie, 3-for-10, so it's 300. Sneaky option, I think Taillon could be a tournament option. You're not trusting him in cash. That's 100% not going to happen. And then St. Louis, they think it's going to be Liberatore, but the problem is when it is Liberatore, he's a bullpen guy. He goes 3 innings and the bullpen comes in, hasn't done anything. I'd rather focus on the bats here. I might be off of Taillon 100%, but I would focus on the bats in this game more than I would focus on the pitching. Cubs bats, Chris Morel's always going to be my lineup if I have a Cubs bat. Suzuki would be the second one. Dansby Swanson, Cody Bellinger. I don't mind these guys. Value, Mike Tauchman could be a value option. Nico Horner, Michael Busch. St. Louis, if you think Taillon's not going to have a good game. Nootbaar, 1-for-6. He's been hitting well this year. Goldie, Burleson are the 3 that I'd look at. You could look at Ivan Herrera. If Matt Carpenter gets in there, he does have good numbers against him. It's a short sample size, though. I don't know if Carpenter's going to be in there. So late slate, I don't know if I'll be having much exposure to this game, but I wanted to bring this to your attention and kind of just go with that direction. Then you got the Phillies at the Rockies. This is what I'm scared of. You don't want to take pitching in Colorado 9 times out of 10. You want to look at it in a vacuum when it's a stud like Aaron Nola. But then you look at his numbers, 127 plate appearances against the Rockies in his career, 280 batting average, 27.6 K percentage. So pitched against them, let's see if it's like 1 or 2 people. Like Blackman's 11-for-30, 4 doubles and 2 home runs. Could be a cheap, sneaky option, batting 367 and 30 plate appearances. Chris Bryant is 7-for-19 with a double and a home run, but he has looked bad this year. Ryan McMahon would be the number one that I'd look at. 3-for-18, but does have 2 home runs. Brenton Doyle, when he is in there, he's doing well. He's stealing bases. I don't think I can pay up for Nola here at $9,000 in Colorado. I think I'd rather look at the bats. And then you got Dakota Hudson. I would 100% go a full send on Philly stack. It is going to be expensive, so you're going to have to find some value in your starting pitching on this main slate if you go with a Philly stack. But a Schwarber there, a Harper should dominate. Look a little bit at maybe a Brandon Marsh, or you could look at Real Muto. You could also look at Alec Boehm here as well. So I'm scared to take Nola in cash, maybe in tournaments. I'm okay with. But again, Colorado has made some studs cry, and I don't know if that's going to be the case here. Outside of a couple of bats for Colorado, they haven't been that good. So I think you can make a case there, but I'm surprised they did not drop Nola's price down a little bit more, considering it is in Coors. Next game, Guardians at the Angels, Tanner Bibby versus Jose Soriano. Bibby, 41 plate appearances, 275. Soriano, 23 plate appearances, 217. We look at Bibby's the third highest priced pitcher at 8,800. Sub 4 ERA, coming off a really good start against Minnesota. 7 innings in that game. It's the farthest he's gone in almost a month. Angels aren't the best team. We look at splits-wise. He's already faced them once this year. Went 5 innings, gave up 6 earned runs. That's the problem. I'm probably not paying $8,800 for him. I'd rather focus on the bats on both sides. A little bit more focused on Cleveland bats, but I think you could look at the other way as well. So Josh Naylor, David Fry, Tyler Freeman, and Jose Ramirez would be the 3 or the 4 that I'd look at. And then another combination of either Will Brennan, Estevan Florial for tournaments. Bo Naylor would be another one. Angels bats, if you think Bibby's going to get lit up again, O'Hoppe, Ward, and Joe Adell would be my top 3. And then you find either a Willie Calhoun, you could find a Nolan Schanuel, you could find Cole Tucker if he's in there, would be a cheap option if you're looking for a full-on stack for the Angels. So I'm probably not using either pitcher. I'd rather use the bats there. Then you got Stroman versus Dylan Cease. Stroman has had success against this team. It is a pitcher's park. I love Stroman. I love Cease, though. I think Cease could see 10 strikeouts in this game. That's the problem. Overall, I think you guys know what bats you would take if you think the pitcher's not going to have a good game. I'm probably taking both pitchers. SP1, SP2 does not matter. Cash or tournaments. I've got both of these guys. I will be off of the bats right now. Maybe the simulation shows something else. Maybe something pops up later on in the day before the lineups lock at 9:40 Eastern, and we can go from there. But I would rather take both pitchers there. Then the Marlins at the Diamondbacks, the final game, Sixto Sanchez versus Jordan Montgomery. We look at this. Sixto Sanchez coming in, 6.41 ERA, not really good games, has not faced Arizona this year. I'd rather look at Arizona bats. And then we look at, you look at Jordan Montgomery, 5 ERA, a couple of bad starts here. I'm probably off of this. I'm probably looking at the bats. So if we look at the bats in this one, and you kind of see which bats to use, you've got Jesus Sanchez. I would look at Otto Lopez. I would look at Jazz. I would look at Josh Bell. Maybe a little bit of Jake Berger. Arizona bats here, Ketel Marte, Jock Peterson, Christian Walker, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I like the price that Corbin Carroll is. Should be higher. So has struggled this year. I would 100% take him against, 100% take him here against the Sixto Sanchez in this lineup. So I don't want anything to do with the pitching here. I want the bats. And the keyword of the day is children. And why is it? Because I hear my toddler up there screaming, been screaming all day. And so hopefully you guys can't hear it in the video, but because yes, children is the key word, and she is a screaming right now. So top 20 batters after 10,000 simulations. I don't think it's going to be a surprise, but the early simulations absolutely love Philly, and I think that's a fantastic stack here in Colorado. So number 1 is Kyle Schwarber. Number 2 is Bryce Harper. 3 is Candelario. 4 is Real Muto. 5 is Bryson Stott. 6 is Nick Castellanos. 7 and 8 are Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani. 9 is Elly De La Cruz. 10, Jazz Chisholm. 11, Bobby Witt Jr. 12, Brandon Marsh. 13, Brian De La Cruz. 14, Ozzie Albies. 15, Acuna. 16, Marcell Ozuna. 17, Spencer Steer. 18, Alec Boehm. 19, Michael Garcia. And number 20 is Christian Walker. So looking at these stacks, love me an Arizona stack. Love a Cincy stack. Love a Philly stack. And a Dodgers stack as well. So I think there could be a lot of runs in these games today. I think hopefully this video helps you out. Again, if you need a little bit more help, go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Go check out the website. Go check out the Discord that we have in there. Check out everything we have. And if you have questions, feel free to email me. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter @advisors_team. If you need a little bit more help, Hopefully we can help you out. Good luck on this Saturday slate. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.